Bolts. Ordinary fasteners that hold the world together. Most people toss them when they're done. I see them as a billet. Steel with character, just waiting to be unlocked. We cut the bolt heads off, bundle them up, and strap them tight. Then, tack welding. We need to secure the canister so it doesn't fall apart in the forge. Into the fire. Apply flux. It draws out impurities and helps the layers bond. Strike light, setting the metal. It's not about shape yet. It's about becoming one. The secret: bolt Damascus is dense. Don't rush to draw it out. Let the layers set under the hammer to avoid delamination. Back in the forge. More flux, more hammering. The cycle repeats until the billet is a solid mass. The power hammer comes in now. It packs the metal evenly, saving hours of hand striking. Drawing the billet into a bar, the power hammer and press work in tandem to profile the blade and distribute the mass. Gradually, something recognizable emerges from that bundle of bolts. You can see the blade profile taking shape. If you're enjoying the process, hit that like button. Hand finishing at the anvil. This is where the smith takes over, truing up the geometry, refining the tip, and tweaking the bevels. It's precision work. Every strike is a decision. A smith knows it's right just by looking at it. Rough grinding. The belt grinder strips the scale and flattens the stock. Then, profiling the excess metal. The blade starts to find its clean lines. Now you can see the potential. Layout work. The profile and bevel lines are marked on the steel. An angle grinder removes the bulk strictly following the lines. Accuracy over speed here. The grinder brings out the bevels and polishes the flats. The blade gets cleaner with every pass. Next, the guard slot. This is the critical fit-up where the handle meets the steel. It has to be dead on. Drilling the tang holes. Then, a final preheat treat polish. The surface is leveled until the steel starts to glow. The blade must be clinically clean before it hits the kiln. Pro tip: always degrease the blade before quenching. Any traces of oil or dirt will cause uneven heating, leading straight to warping or stress cracks. Heating for the quench. The blade comes out of the forge bright orange, straight into the oil, flare, smoke, and a thermal shock. This is where the steel finds its hardness. Then into the flux sawdust to clear the oil. Cleaning and degreasing, preparing for the etch. Wipe, scrub, repeat. The cleaner the surface, the higher the contrast in the Damascus pattern. Ferric chloride etch. The solution eats away at the steel, revealing the structure. The layers of bolt Damascus emerge, dark and light bands, a living pattern. This isn't an engraving. This is the soul of the metal. Post-etch buffing, removing the oxides to bring out depth and contrast. The pattern becomes crisp and three-dimensional. The handle, hardwood. Measure, mark, and drill for the pins. Fitting the scales perfectly to the tang. Dry fit, checking the tolerances. Everything must sit flush without a hint of play. Assembly: guard, handle, and epoxy. The wood is pinned to the tang. Then, marking the handle ergonomics with a Sharpie, we'll grind away the excess. The angle grinder shapes the handle to the lines. The wood takes form, edges are radiused, then hand sanding, moving through the grits. The handle should feel smooth and warm in the hand. Finishing the wood with oil, linseed, or a custom handle blend. It seals the grain and makes the texture pop. It's no longer a project or a rough draft, it's a finished tool. Final inspection: a water bottle chop, a clean, effortless slice. These used to be ordinary bolts. Now it's a blade with a story forged inside. Subscribe for more. Plenty of builds coming up.